very, very tough loss. Feel for the kids. Frustrated. We were able to start the game early on, being able to run the ball and mix it up. As the game went on, we weren't able to consistently do that. We've had a hard time protecting all year long. We got a pretty talented quarterback, and we haven't been able to protect him. Six sacks, probably a lot more pressures and hits than that. Thought our defense played solid. We weren't able to get off the field on a bunch of third and long situations, which was valuable. They made some plays when they had to. Every time we would get a little bit of momentum, we get the big punt return, and it comes back for a penalty. We get the onside kick at the end of the game. We went for took the safety there because based on the time and the situation, that was the only chance we had. Took the safety, kicked the onside kick, recovered it, got offsides penalty. So the bye week's coming at a good time. We got a lot of work to do in a lot of different areas. We really do. We knew we were going to have some challenges up front, but it's enough. There's been enough talking about that. We got to start getting better, and we got to get it fixed fast. So open up the questions.
James, what was your thinking on the fake punt, and what effect did that have?
Yeah, I think it did have an effect. We were in a situation we had not been punting well, which is, I think, was another big part of this game. Had not been punting well. We were in an area of the field where my thought was there. We ran a fake that we could run versus safe defense. Even if they weren't at the line rushing, we've been working on that fake versus that look all year long. We didn't block it. We didn't execute it very well. But I figured in that area of the field, we weren't going to gain a whole lot anyway, so let's run a play to give us a chance. It did not work out well. Obviously, you'd like to have that one back.
Do you have a sense, James, for why you weren't able to run the ball as effectively later in the game as you did early in the game?
No, I'm going to have to watch the tape and look at it, but we weren't able to run the ball effectively late, and obviously we're still getting pressures on the quarterback. I thought we were able to run the ball early on well. I don't know if they rotated a bunch of guys and they stayed fresh and we wore down. I'm not sure. Typically with the running game, that's what you like to do. You like to wear them down, but I'm going to need to watch the tape and see that.
The interception, James Christian's running to his right, throws back across his body. What do you have to talk to him about to not make that kind of decision in that situation?
Well, I think what we have to be careful of is we start falling into some bad habits because he's getting hit too much. He's getting hit too much. He's getting sacked too much. He's getting too many pressures in his face. Obviously, we either got to take the sack, we got to throw it away, we got to reserve the right to punt.
Seemed like Geno Lewis played a lot less tonight. Were there any reasons for that?
Just the way the whole week worked out with practice and some other things based on film and things that we've been evaluating all year long. There's a lot of factors that went into it, not one specific reason.
He's not hurt or anything?
Yeah, I don't get into injuries, but there was a lot of factors that went into it. Film grades, practice, a lot of things that went into it.
Well, he's a really good receiver on this team, so you got anything to say? Because people are going to wonder why he wasn't playing, that's all.
Yeah, based on the last the games all season long, looking at grades and how guys have been playing, missed assignments, execution, practice habits. There's always some health things that get into those things as well this time of year. There's a lot of factors. We also feel like some of those young guys deserve an opportunity.
Coach, back up into your end zone and line up the punt and burn your second timeout. What went into that decision process?
Well, obviously we wanted to take the safety. So we made that decision a little bit late. So we took the timeout in that situation to make sure we take the safety.
James, in the first half, there appeared to be some confusion on a fourth down deep in Michigan territory. At first, the offense was on the field. I think it was 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. Then the field goal team ran onto the field. Then you had to call a timeout. What was going on there?
Yeah, we had a communication error on the sideline. We called for an offensive play, and I hadn't made that decision. So we didn't do a great job communicating. So that's on me.
Coach, Anthony Zettel had the interception in the second quarter. He's coming back in Michigan playing. Tell me about his performance. What do you think of his performance tonight?
Again, I don't have all the information, but obviously got a second career interception. Both of them, against Michigan. This one led to a touchdown, so it was a big play. They had been a team. You got to give them credit. They played well enough tonight to beat us. But They had been a team that had been turning the ball over, so we were hoping to be able to get some turnovers. Last week, they didn't turn the ball over Rutgers and was able to make it a real competitive game. And this week, besides that one, they pretty much protected the football. So that was a big play for us. We'd like to get a little bit more turnovers from our defense and get off the field on third down.
You mentioned the defense a couple times, but at the same time, your defense really kind of kept you in this game for a
Very
long,
much
long
so.
time. So you feel for some of those guys that the offense just isn't playing the kind of complementary football that the defense needs?
Yeah, I think most of my comments early on were that we weren't able to run the ball effectively late in the game, and we haven't been able to protect, and we're taking too many hits on the quarterback. So, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt, but that our defensive philosophy and our defensive belief is that we got to hold them to 1 point less than whatever the offense can score. I mean, that's kind of our mentality. And the offense has got to score one more than the defense gives up, and special teams have to find a way to make some plays as well.
You had talked a lot this week about staying committed to the run, even if it wasn't working. Do you feel like you did that tonight, or would you like to see more of it?
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to go back and look at it. Bill Belt was pretty effective. At 75 yards rushing. Most of those things came in the first half. Not as well in the second half, but yeah, I think so.
Do you feel like it was a matter of guys wearing down in the second half, or why do you think it sort of fell off the cliff, so to speak, in the second half?
Again, I think these are similar problems that we've been having all year long, to be honest with you. I don't think it's anything that jumped out, specifically tonight.
Was there anything Kaiser could have done on that fluky touchdown to come to the ball or meet the ball, or how did you see that play?
Yeah, they threw a post in the cover two, which you shouldn't be able to do. We waited on the ball rather than attacking the ball, and their guy just ran right in front of us. That was, I think, a real big play in the game because it gave them confidence. It gave them a chunk play. I think that was a big play in the game. We got to attack the ball when it's in the air. We didn't do it in that situation.
How do you think Christian's head is? Sometimes when you're under duress like this and under pressure, you start being, you mentioned it, kind of gun shy, and other problems can happen with your mental state, your emotional state, so just in general.
I think he's frustrated. I think he's frustrated. Obviously, he's had some success since he's been here at Penn State, and he's getting way too many pressures and getting way too many hits. And when those things happen, that's where you really have to be mentally tough, and you got to be physically tough, and you got to make sure that you're not starting to fall into bad habits. And that's easier said than done. Overall, I think he's doing some really nice things. The most important thing is we got to protect him. We got to keep him upright. We got to keep people off of him. Typically, I think a big part of that this year has been the running game. We were able to have some success in the running game tonight, but we still didn't protect it well.
James, you've used Belton throwing in the red zone 2 games in a row. Can you discuss, is that working in practice, and just your thoughts on that strategy?
Yeah, just trying to mix it up. Obviously, didn't work in that situation, but we were having some success running the ball. Thought we'd get in that situation. Didn't get the release. Didn't get the look that we were anticipating. Obviously, we were expecting a little bit different situation, and to be able to get our tight end released down the middle of the field and be able to hit him.
You've always said John has called the plays. How much input have you had in these kind of situations? Will you have more input? Do you feel like the offensive play calling is going well?
Yeah, guys, it's hard to call a game when you can't consistently run block and you can't consistently protect the quarterback. That's our issue. And I'm not just saying it's the O-line. It's tight ends. We weren't able to get separation at wide receiver today in the passing game. There's a lot of things that factor into it. But if you're having a hard time protecting in the passing game and consistently running the ball, it makes it challenging to call a game. I'm going to be there every single week like I always am. I take full responsibility for all of this, the offense, the defense, and the special teams. All I know is we're going to stay positive. We're going to keep working hard. We're going to keep loving these kids. We're going to work hard this week. Bye week's coming at a good time. And we're going to have a tremendous challenge coming up here in the near future.
What do you think you can do fresh during this bye week that maybe you didn't during the last one?
I'd have to look at that. To me, that's not really the answer. It's not about doing something fresh. It's getting better at the things that we're doing. That's really the issue. So, we're going to stick to our plan. This will be important for us this week. Again, getting some guys back that are banged up and not getting the reps that they need to get in practice. It allows us to continue to develop some of the younger guys. and obviously have an opportunity to go back and study the film and find some things that we can do and do well.
James, do you think the margin of error for this team is smaller than most?
I think the margin of error is small. You know, when you have 62 recruited scholarship players, the margin of error is small, but the margin of error is small for a lot of teams in college football. We gotta find a way to get it done.
Take two more.
Previously, John, I've been up in the booth calling plays. Was tonight the first game he was down on the sideline?
No, second, because the first game of the year against Central Florida, we had no headsets for the entire first half.
Why did he come down for this game? Was that a decision you guys made jointly? Does he just feel more comfortable on the sideline now?
Just trying to change it up a little bit, be down on the sideline so we can interact with those guys, talk, solve problems.
Where do you feel about your punting situation? You had a couple punts that weren't all that long. Is there still an ongoing competition there?
Yes, I think we want to have competition at every single position, but tonight, was a huge game of field position. And, to me, we weren't able to punt the ball effectively to switch field position. And then obviously our situation for going for it in that fake situation, all those things kind of factored into it. Where the ball was at on the field and not being able to punt effectively.
Thanks, Coach.